Ladies and gentlemen, this is Anza Saqib live with yet another show, Rendezvous with Anza on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C levels across the globe. Today, we have yet another very special guest with us, Mr. Saad Usman. He has received the prestigious Pride of Performance Award, and he's also the Director of Finance at Martin Dow Marker Ltd. He is one of the very few people that have decades of experience in finance. Without further ado, let's have a word with him. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Nice to have you on the show.
Walaikum Assalam. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Sir, I know there are a lot of people that are watching and they're absolutely curious about where your journey began, where you went to school, what courses you studied, and how did you end up where you are at?
Yeah, it's been an exciting journey so far, and I was born and brought up in Karachi. Primarily, I wanted to become an engineer myself in the early part of my life, and I did my schooling from civil aviation school that's near the airport, and then I went to Adamji Government Science College and did my engineering from there. And when I was doing my intermediate, I realized that it was a bitter realization on my part. But I realized that it's going to be tough for me to get a good job, if I were to pursue my career in engineering or some other fields like that. So I started to search which field would be appropriate for me, so that in a way that it's more challenging and not everyone else can really pursue it in easy manner. So someone told me about the profession of chartered accountancy, and they said that it's very difficult and only very few people manage to pass through. So I immediately became very interested in that. I got some information, and at the 11th hour, when I completed my intermediate, I had both the forms for ICAP and form for NED University both in my hands, and deciding in fact confused about where to go. But then I finally decided to pursue my career in chartered accountancy. Alhamdulillah, that has been a good decision so far. Throughout, I passed my papers with flying colors, and I also did my CIMA, which is a UK qualification along the way. And Alhamdulillah, during my entire educational life, I have never taken any paper twice, be it in ICAB or be it in CIMA. Luckily, Alhamdulillah, I also got a national level achievement, got 2 gold medals in the CA final examinations. That's a national level achievement. And other than that, it has been good. Uh, the only thing which kept me moving was to I wanted to check whether I can do the unthinkable. Unthinkable in terms of most of the people I was surrounded with. They thought that it was unthinkable that for me to do the chartered accountancy, but so far I found that when there's a will, there's a way. Some people also ask me to another career if in a case if I were not able to complete my chartered accountancy. So I told them that, look, I have never even given a single thought about what I'm going to do if I'm not able to complete it, because I had so much focus in my mind that I'm going to do it. So I did it. So this is what you know. Very talented and motivated individuals in these days today, they are also able to do that with flying colors, and only determination and hard work and rather smart work is required. So this is what I have done. And on a particular note, I'm going to just mention one important thing here is one little one little comment from anyone, one little comment for motivation or guidance can lead you to the right place. Very early in my part in my education of chartered accountancy, I remember I heard in one of the seminars at ICAP that one of the speakers was saying that if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. So that was my guiding principle throughout my studies. So I always planned my studies very well in advance, never left anything to chances, and that's why I got here.
Mashallah, what a motivational journey, sir. This definitely translates to pure passion for a field like finance. Something where a lot of young people, they find that the field of finance is boring, and now less people are encouraged to enter it. But your journey seems so inspiring. Sir, what does corporate finance mean to you, and what made you so passionate about this particular field?
Actually, when I got into the finance field, the initial motivation or the purpose was different. Just I wanted to try something which is very difficult. But when I got into finance myself, and when I started working for different companies, and I got to know that it's a very responsible job, because in various companies where finance people work, they are the financial custodians of those companies. And sometimes we work with the public limited companies, sometimes we work with the government entities, sometimes we work with private limited companies, family-owned businesses, and so on and so forth. Wherever we work, we are the financial custodians of that company, and shareholders or the owners of the companies, they entrust their money with us, and they believe that we are going to spend the money wisely, and for creation of wealth for them, and for the for improvement of the people lives of the people around us. So this is a very important job, in my view, in my opinion. And a good finance professional is one who not only creates value for the shareholders of the company, for the owners, for the key stakeholders, and also make sure that whatever they do, it also creates a value for the society in general. Whatever we do, we bring goods to the marketplace at the lowest possible cost. We deliver service of the high quality at lower possible cost, and remove all the inefficiencies from the processes, and make sure that we deliver a high quality service at the low possible cost.
Absolutely, sir, because there's no tougher job than I've seen most mothers when they're managing finances and managing money. Definitely, it's a very big responsibility as well, and hats off to you for all the work that you've done. So, you've also had the honor of receiving a Pride of Performance award for your, achievements. How did that step feel for Pakistan? And it must have been exhilarating. Would you like to narrate how you felt at that point in time?
Okay. Let me clarify. There should not be any confusion about it. The pride of performance is not the one which is given by the president of Pakistan. It is the one which I got from one of my companies, and I was working with one of the very important company, and the managing director of that company then gave me pride of performance. It was called pride of performance. It was a kind of a gold medal achievement for that project. So let's be very clear, it's not the national level pride of performance that they're usually given by the president of Pakistan.
But sir, that
That
well,
project,
inshallah, if you keep, if you keep following in your own footsteps, I'm sure you'll receive that in the future as well, inshallah.
I look forward to that time, inshallah, definitely. But for that pride of performance, which I already got, it was a project of SAP implementation in one of my companies, and it was a very tight deadline. I was the main coordinator from the business side, and then we had an IT team in which there was an IT coordinator as well. So we had to complete that project in a very limited and a very tight time frame. So we did that. Alhamdulillah, the go live was very successful, very seamless, and there was no major problem after the go live was completed. So for that team, it was a team accomplishment, and since I led the business side, so I got that kind of.
That's brilliant, sir. You also, before we move on to discuss more about finance, one of the things that I believe is very inspiring about you is that you cleared all your ICAP and SIMA papers. SIMA is relatively still believable, but it's very rare that someone clears all your ICAP papers in one go, mashallah, in your first attempt. What kind of advice do you have for people who are, because I know a lot of young professionals are also aspiring to, after their undergrad, go for their ICAP. So, what would be your advice?
As I mentioned earlier, that a simple advice can do wonders for you if you take it properly. So I remember Mr. Bashir Juma, he's an ex-partner of Port Roads, Ernst & Young. He was delivering a seminar in ICAP back in 1997 when I started my career in ICAP and my studies, in fact. So he, in that particular seminar, mentioned this thing that if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Then throughout my education, I made it a guiding principle for myself. Whenever I studied something, I always planned well in advance, and I left nothing to chance. And every day, like me, like most of the people in finance community, the ICAP members or the students, they are either going to libraries for study or they have gone to libraries for their study when they used to study. So we used to go to library and study from let's say 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock in the night, and 12 hours a day or 13 hours a day or 14 hours a day, depending upon your own temperament. But every day I used to go back home and I opened my computer, and I had made a spreadsheet about whatever I'm going to do the next day, what have I done for the day, what is left, what was my target. And I used to update my target list every day. I had goals for every day. I had goals for every week. I had goals for the entire duration of my preparation until the day of the exam. So mostly 80 to 90% achievement was done, and because of those achievement against my own targets, against my own goals, I was able to complete my studies in a very time bound manner, in a very comprehensive manner, and Alhamdulillah, it was. I remember in my final examination, it was in 2001 December. Although it was winters, but we had Ramadan at the same time. So while fasting, while doing all the religious stuff required for Ramadan, I took my exams. And my CA final exams and my SEMA final exams were only, I think, 9 days apart. I took my SEMA final exam, four papers in November 2001, my CA final exams in December 2001. With only 10 days in between, I had taken seven papers in all, and I passed each one of them, alhamdulillah,
Mashallah.
along with the gold medals that I got. So
Mashallah.
this is was only possible because of the planned work that I did, and obviously from the blessings of my parents, and obviously when you work hard, you get the reward.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Say, you mentioned how you used to create a spreadsheet on your computer, and that really brings me to the point that adopting any kind of technology is obviously beneficial if we put it to good use. In a polarized market like Pakistan, where we still have such brick and mortar methodology of even record keeping, bookkeeping, that's still done manually. And since you are someone with finance, we know now fintech is a big buzzword. There's a lot of work that's happening in Pakistan, yet we do not have a lot of payment gateways in place. How do you see the future of financial technologies? What are the key who are the key stakeholders that are involved, and what measures do we need to take to ensure a smooth transition into the future?
Ansa, let me first tell you that globally, fintech is really a buzzword, and the big players in the market have invested more than $300 billion in the fintech industry alone. And the market capitalization of the fintech companies in the world is more than $4 trillion. So this is a huge thing which is going forward globally. That 160 million people out of 200 or 220 million people have cell phones, but many of them cannot even search in English. Many of them cannot even type in English, and they cannot, let alone use a smartphone. So this is a very big gap here. Let me tell you very one interesting example. Because of the COVID, we have leapfrog to the next, we have to cross the hurdle of digitalization to some extent. One of
Mhm.
my very senior colleagues of my same finance community, I was talking to him, I think last year, second quarter, in April or May, I think, when the COVID was in full swing in Karachi, in Pakistan. And he told me that, yeah, this mobile payment is very easy. I made my utility bill payment from my mobile app, and it's very easy. I said, hats off to you, sir. You have just joined the club, because we have been doing it for the last 10 years. Now you have joined the club, better late than never. But people, even in finance community, they are reluctant or they are not used to using all kinds of the gadgets that we have, the
Even
apps
in
we have.
banking, sir, there's a lack of digital trust that exists.
Absolutely, because of all these things going on about mobile banking frauds or credit card frauds, so everybody is reluctant. Even only in yesterday, I was talking to my driver, and I told him that look, I'm not going to give you salary in cash anymore. You have to open your bank account, and then I'm going to transfer it to your account. So he said, I don't have a background. I've never used an ATM. I said, okay, I'll teach you. I will even pay you the fee for the ATM card. That's not a problem. But it makes it so much easier to handle less of the cash and more of transactions online. And it's irony in Pakistan that the finance people would relate to it, that the currency in circulation, the people that
Yes.
have cash in hand, is around
Mhm.
29 to 30% of the total money issued by the State Bank of Pakistan. It is around
These
14%
are alarming figures. Absolutely.
it's around 14% in India, and I think less than 10% in Bangladesh. So we have about 30% of people holding cash in their hands and doing transactions in physical manner. So we have to do something about it to make sure that people go to the digital modes of payment. In corporate world, although in corporate
Mhm.
world, all of the people, most of the companies are moving on towards electronic banking. They are, people are getting bank statements online. They have online payment solutions. They have got IBFT, interbank fund transfers, and so on and so forth. But
Right.
the acceptance on an individual level is not there at the required level as yet. One very important aspect of this is the Russian digital program, that the Russian digital accounts that the government has launched, and it's a good step in the right direction because people can open their bank accounts. The Pakistan diaspora outside, they can open their bank accounts in the comfort of their homes, and a lot of things that can be done along with this. The SARS program, the payment of 12,000 rupees to families, if we bring in the blockchain technology to ensure transparency in that, it can be a total game changer for Pakistani industry, for Pakistani
Absolutely. So
community.
now that you mentioned the Russian Digital Pakistan program, one thing that I have been reading lately is that there have been a lot of tax rebates, for example, in the construction sector or even in the import of raw materials and so on and so forth. Is this going to encourage, more conducive environment for businesses to set up?
Answer, actually, I believe in a carrot and a stick policy. So the government has to give carrot as well as use some of the stick as well.
Some of the
Uh, the Russian Digital program is one a good thing. I was listening to Ms. Seema Kamil, who was on the news of the other day, and I heard her very excitement that a lot of excitement that the program is running very well. The thing is that in Pakistan we have to take a number of steps to make sure that the tax rebates are given in the right direction and to achieve the specific objectives. For example, in the construction sector, as you mentioned, there is a lot of tax rebates have been given, tax holidays have been given, and they should be used properly. A lot of construction sector activity is done in cash, and I think one of the conditions is that whatever transaction you do, you have to bring the money in the bank accounts, and then you have to take the banking channels route to make
conventional
the
channels,
transaction.
definitely.
This is very right, and this has to be done. This should be done. And similarly, for example, there is a lot of talk about demonetization of the 5,000 rupee note in Pakistan to in fact discourage cash handling and to discourage
Absolutely.
corruption. So again, in that case, I would say that we have to be very careful and we have to learn from India's experiment and India's experience with that, and we can still give some benefits of using the online methods of payments to corporate sector, to individuals, and then at the same time we should take some actions like even demonetization is also one of them, to take some actions in this regard to curb use of cash. So tax rebates as well as some strict measures will do the work. Not anything in isolation would not.
Sir, coming towards the end, my last question to you officially would be that there has been a lot of talks about, cashless economy and, Cryptocurrency now globally has been something that has been of a lot of importance. We recently saw that after the Bitcoin mega crash, we saw that as soon as Tesla, Elon Musk invested some shares in Bitcoin, we saw $1.8 billion in revenue and profits generated just in a day. Do you think cryptocurrency, right now we don't have a framework for it, but do you think it could ever be implemented in Pakistan?
Yeah, the current situation on the ground is that the cryptocurrency State Bank has only issued a warning against the use of cryptocurrency. It's not banned in Pakistan. It's not illegal in Pakistan. But at the same time, we have seen that there are certain news reports that FIA is arresting people who are who hold some cryptocurrency and they
Mining
were carrying
Bitcoin, yes.
mining cryptocurrency. Yeah. So there has been a case in Sin High Court also, and Sin High Court has clearly said that it's not banned and it's not illegal to hold cryptocurrency or mine that. So, but at the same time, the Pakistani infrastructure has to be such that the cryptocurrency is used for legitimate purposes. We are under the FATF grey list as well. So we have to be very sure that it's not going to be misused and it's going to be very clean use of that. So at the same time, the government of Pakistan should bring in proper rules and regulations and proper oversight. Although cryptocurrency cannot be regulated as such, but there has to be certain guidelines from the government that what's the main framework under which the cryptocurrency can be mined, can be traded, whether there will be official trading platforms to trade cryptocurrency in Pakistan or not, and whether the income generated from the cryptocurrency would be taxable or not taxable. So there has to be work has to be done in this regard, and Pakistan is surely lagging behind. As a matter of fact, I know that even the big audit firms, even including PwC, is accepting fee in the payment of fee in cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin. Yeah. Blockchain, on the other hand, if we talk about blockchain, it's going to be a game changer. So blockchain is something which we have to work on, which we should work on. And I'm sure that corporates in Pakistan, they are very progressive, and if they see there's a business case in Pakistan for blockchain, they're going to jump at it. Let me give you an example. In auto industry, the world moved from the petrol-based or the gasoline-based cars to hybrid models, and then from hybrid models to the electric vehicles. And Pakistan, in fact, kept out the hybrid from between, and they jumped over to the electric vehicles. So we can learn from the world experience as well, and we can see whether blockchain and whether cryptocurrencies can work in our favor or not. Pakistan, State Bank of Pakistan is very conservative in the sense that they don't want businesses to make speculation, and in fact, they create risk for everybody. So speculation and speculative trading is not going to work, and we have to make sure that it works in legitimate ways.
Thank you, sir, for your time. Towards the end, I'm just going to ask you, how has being a part of CxO Global impacted your life?
I think being part of the professional network is a very learning experience for me. And as some wise guy has said, that you are actually the average of the 5 people you work very closely with or you associate with. So there's a lot of stars. Almost everybody is a star at CxO Global Forum. And even if I don't participate in any of the discussion, even only going through the discussion, there's a lot of learning from that, from the comments that we get, from the interviews we see. So hats off to CxO Global Forum, and more power and more success for you in future.
Thank you so much, sir. We will be connecting with you in the future. Thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll join you once again with yet another guest. Thank you so much, and I wish you all well.